Hi, guys. Welcome to our Changing the Conversations podcast brought to you by BizHelp. I think that the biggest challenge that the industry is facing at the moment, as you all would know, is that even though we're seeing a gradual recovery of the industry, for the first quarter, for example, according to South African tourism, we saw over 1 million foreign visitors coming into the country. Now, obviously, that figure is not as high as what happened in 2019, but there is some gradual recovery that the industry is experiencing. The biggest challenge, however, as I said, is that businesses are still battling to survive. Our experience working with a number of businesses in the last few months is that they're still struggling to get access to markets, struggling to get access to finance. And I think a major reason for that, and this is based on the research that we've done and also dealing with small businesses out there, is that a lot of these funds that are available are not friendly to tourism businesses. At the moment, what we're finding is that because of the pandemic, a lot of businesses have lost assets. A lot of businesses have been blacklisted or put on credit bureaus, and therefore they cannot get access to this funding. And, even though you have development finance and you have schemes like CFA and CEDA, these funding institutions also require collateral, and they also require businesses that have good balance sheets. And I really feel that we need to move beyond that. I mean, we've looked at some international case studies, and we've seen that in countries like Australia, Scotland, even India is looking at it now. We're finding that the recovery funds that those countries have launched, they actually have taken into consideration the negative impact that the pandemic has had on these businesses. And what they've done is that they've created some very innovative ways of how to ensure that the funding goes to the right people and that the funds will be recovered once these businesses have recovered. And I think that's something we need to look into as a country. I think we've had, one of the lessons, for example, that I think we've learned through this pandemic is the ability for government and the private sector to come together and work together and create some really speedy solutions to resolve our crises. And we've seen that during the pandemic. I mean, given that there was a whole lot of corruption and all those kind of things, but I think that there's lessons that we have learned. And I think there's a sort of a blueprint that we can actually follow to ensure that we come up with some creative solutions to the problems that businesses are experiencing. A lot of the relief funding that was available are not available anymore, because the lockdown levels have been lifted. So how do these small businesses now try to navigate through this period? I think that if we are serious as a country about supporting small businesses, especially in the tourism industry, remember, this industry has been the worst affected by the pandemic. And when I speak about tourism, I'm talking about the events industry. I'm talking about the business events industry, particularly conferences, meetings, exhibitions, live events. We've seen sports events that have been happening over the last few weeks, the rugby, the cricket that's been happening. So I think if we start resolving this issue for small businesses, especially in the industry, it will have a ripple effect on the rest of our economy. Because tourism does not only just affect a small part of the economy, it affects a massive part of the economy. A lot of industries depend on the tourism industry. And so if we can sort this problem out with the tourism industry, I think it would really stimulate the rest of our economy. So what we're asking the industry to actually do is to support this campaign, to call for a tourism recovery fund. On our platforms, we have a poll that we launched yesterday where we really need you to tell us whether something like this is really something we can look at. And I'm also looking forward to people that are against this fund. I want to understand why. What are your reasons? Maybe we haven't thought about this thing carefully. And we really want to get this right. So I think that, our call out there is to industry players, to government, to people in authority. We want to hear from you. We want to hear your views and see how we can actually come together to revive this industry. Because I think that if we don't do this now, and we need to do this quickly, if we don't do this now, it's going to be a missed opportunity, especially for the small businesses in the industry. I think that if the UNWTO, for example, is projecting that the industry is only going to reach levels of 2019 in 2024, that's quite a while for the industry to recover. And therefore, we're saying that we need some creative solutions to help the industry navigate this period. So we're really calling on you to comment on our platforms, to engage with us, and to see how we can all work together to resolve this crisis that the industry, especially small businesses, are going through currently. Thank you for listening.